At the start of the film, it's explained that global resources have been depleted. A team of astronauts and scientists was dispatched to the planet Neptune in search of valuable resources, and throughout the course of the movie, many years elapse as their mission unfolds. While working on a new experiment, we meet an astronaut, Major Roy, who is facing difficulties in repairing his space station due to strange energy waves coming from space and hitting Earth, causing numerous human casualties. Major Roy also begins to fall towards Earth as a result. Because of this, he made it back to Earth, but all his teammates got lost somewhere in space. They died. He was the only person from his team who survived and returned to Earth, but despite surviving such a major accident, life wasn't giving Roy any joy. He couldn't feel emotions like happiness or sadness, which is why his wife had left him. Roy wasn't always like this. The major changes in his life had made him this way. Since childhood, Roy was most attached to his dad. His father was one of the world's greatest astronauts and had gone to Neptune many years ago for an experiment. He had gone on that project, which was shown at the start of the movie. NASA maintained contact with Roy's dad's team, and Roy's dad was there. They would share their conditions and research with the world. But then suddenly, after a few years, their contact with Earth was lost. And after many years of effort, when NASA couldn't locate their space station in space, they declared Roy's dad and his entire team dead to the world. Since that day, Roy's life became even more bitter. At this time, Roy is called to headquarters and told that the waves that destroyed his space station were coming from Neptune, from exactly the same location where his father's team was dispatched many years ago for scientific research. NASA scientists firmly believed that the energy waves were being generated by their space station orbiting Neptune, and this phenomenon couldn't possibly occur automatically without human intervention. The team of scientists felt that his dad was still alive and was definitely conducting some experiment on Neptune, which was causing all this. Perhaps Roy's diet sitting there didn't know that his experiment was destroying Earth. The scientists explain they've tried hard to contact Roy's dad at the space station, but there's no response. To stop all this, they plan a mission. In this mission, Roy would be accompanied by his dad's friend. Their journey begins from Ore, and the rocket is launched. They first land on the moon. After landing, they needed to go to the other side of the moon to reach their space. But on the way, they were attacked by space pirates, the same bandits, due to which many of Roy's companions were killed and Roy was also injured. Finally, these people reached Mons Spacecon. But upon arriving there, they saw that Roy's bad companion's health had also deteriorated significantly. They couldn't continue the journey until March. Therefore, they stopped themselves there. They gave Roy a secret chip and message, and here they revealed that they weren't going to Neptune to stop Roy's dad, but were on a secret mission where they had to destroy Roy's dad's experiment there, whether Roy's dad was alive or not. Hearing this made Roy very sad, but then he continued the mission. People now had to play Maharsh further. On the way, they find another space station nearby. Roy's captain decides to go there because they could replenish their supplies from that space station. Upon arriving, they saw that this space station was completely empty. They didn't find any humans here. They spotted a dangerous creature lurking in the laboratory. As soon as this monkey saw them, it attacked them. In this attack, Roy's captain was injured. But Roy stepped forward, sat his captain down, and then put that creature in a vacuum chamber, completely removing the air from it. After killing him at the location where he was killed, Roy carefully takes his captain back to his ship, ensuring a safe return. Upon arriving here, they found out that Roy's captain had died. They had to make the rest of the journey alone, but a major problem occurred when a large energy wave coming from Mars spun their spaceship. Even in this difficult time, Roy didn't lose courage. He didn't feel fear, and he managed to land his spaceship on Mars. As soon as Roy landed here, he is given a script for a message which he should record for his dad so that these people can send this message from Mars to Neptune. Actually, contact could be made from Neptune to Mars, but not to Earth. Roy's first recording is sent all the way to Neptune, but unfortunately, there's no reply from his dad who is stationed on Neptune. Seeing this, another Roy becomes very emotional while recording. Instead of following the script, he speaks from his heart to his dad and sends the message. However, the other astronauts were against sending this message because it contained a lot of emotions, and in space life, there's no place for emotions. Now, because of not speaking the scripted message, Roy is removed from this mission, and preparations begin to send him back to Earth. Before Roy departs for Earth, his father's response finally arrives in response to the heartfelt, emotional message he had sent earlier. Roy wanted to hear his dad's voice. He wanted to listen to that message, but the other astronauts don't let Roy hear that message. Here now, the director of the Mars space station meets him. They had seen Roy for the first time. She asks, "Do you know about those waves that are continuously hitting this space station and the ground? Because of that, many of my people have been killed." Roy doesn't pressure her on this matter. Just before leaving, he asks the director, "What do you want to happen with your dad?" Hearing his words, Roy stopped. The director now showed him a video of his dad that they had received many years ago. In this video, Roy's dad was telling everyone that he had been sent to Neptune for a very important project. His research was progressing very well, but all of Roy's dad's colleagues eventually became psychologically weak from being isolated and alone here for such extended periods. They started finding life here meaningless and decided to return to Earth. But Roy's dad didn't want to go back after coming so far in his journey because he was the captain. Everyone was obligated to follow his orders, but they all rebelled against him here and collectively decided to return to Earth. Seeing this, Roy's dad disabled all the life support systems of the spaceship, shutting them down, which resulted in the death of all his crew members. Hearing this, Roy was in shock because his dad, who was considered the world's greatest scientist and astronaut, was actually a murderer. Roy began to tremble with anger. The director told him that my mom and dad were part of your dad's crew. These people first came to Mars, where I was born, after which they set off for Neptune. After returning from Neptune, they wanted to take me, but your dad gave them a dowry, and they became distant from me too. The director explains that your dad's message was a Hafiz and had already reached the world before Earth. But Earth's people didn't want to present your dad as a villain to the public. That's why he created all that drama, so that all his crew members would be killed. If the world had learned the truth about him, perhaps no one would have trusted him again. But for NASA, he was an asset who was completing his research for them. He is still working on his experiments today, and it's because of his experiments that those energy waves are being generated, which are destroying planet Mars and planet Earth. The director explains that you have been called here so that through you, contact can be made with your dad, and by tracking his location, he can be stopped. The director now also tells him that they have already found his dad's location, and now 5 crew members are going in the same spaceship that Roy came in. They are going to destroy the Lima spaceship project on behalf of Neptune, meaning to destroy your dad's experiments. Roy had to meet his dad once in his life. He asks the director, "Will you help me?" The director agrees and tells him, "I can only get you to the rocket. Beyond this point, you'll need to travel alone." Roy agrees, and the director takes him to a rocket launcher at the tunnel's head gate. The rocket launch was about to start from here, but then it suddenly began to ascend quickly into the sky. Right at the time of launch, he opens the spaceship door and tries to get inside, which triggers the spaceship's alarms. When these people went outside to check, they saw Roy, upon seeing whom they all decided to knock him unconscious because he could ruin their mission. During all this, they didn't notice that the spaceship door was still open. Due to the open door, the pressure inside dropped significantly. The oxygen tanks of these people burst. Crew members were dying due to lack of oxygen. But Roy was still alive because he was wearing a spacesuit. He closed the spaceship door and went to the control deck. There, he reported everything that happened on this spaceship to Earth and began his journey to Neptune. Throughout this journey, he remained quite depressed. What did he think of his dad, and what did his dad turn out to be? He had abandoned him too. While watching his dad's old video clips, he noticed his dad's wife appearing in the footage, which made him feel incredibly sad and nostalgic. He wondered why he was like this. Why is there so much loneliness in his life? While thinking about all this, he realized that his loneliness was only because of the depression his dad had given him. His dad's departure had made him mentally unstable, after which he started living alone and wasn't comfortable with anyone anymore. He was now tired. Some time passes, and it is shown that finally, Roy Lima had reached the Neptune space station. His hair stood on end as soon as he arrived because he saw that the entire space station was empty and dead astronauts' bodies were floating everywhere. He couldn't see his dad anywhere, and as he moved forward, he noticed a large container. Inside it, a chemical reaction was taking place. generating energy waves that were destroying Earth and Mars. He knew he had to destroy this container. He starts loading nuclear weapons when suddenly his dad appears beside him. He was standing towards the top. As soon as he saw Roy, he recognized him and asked, "Roy, is that you down there?" Roy became emotional seeing his dad after so many years. Despite not wanting to, he asked, "How are you, Dad?" His dad replied, "I'm tired, have been for many years. I've been trying to control these energy waves." Hearing this, Roy is surprised because he had been told that his dad was deliberately creating all this. When he asks his dad about the truth, his dad begins to tell the story that when all the crew members were leaving, this space station was also about to be destroyed. There was antimatter in our spaceship, which started attracting other energies of space, and then very large energy waves started coming out from inside it. These waves killed all my crew members, but I survived and started trying to control these waves. Hearing this, the surprised person says to him, "Don't worry, Dial, I'm here now. I'll fix everything. After fixing all this, we'll both go to Earth." But his dad immediately refused because he didn't want to go to Earth. He tells him that the meaning never felt like my world. He always wanted to come to space and research space things and aliens. He explains that space was my first priority. That's why I left my wife, family, you, and the whole world to come here. I didn't love you more because I knew if I got attached to you, I wouldn't be able to stay here. Roy became a bit emotional hearing his words because the person he loved so much today, that same dad, was telling him that he doesn't love him. Roy says to him here, "You may not, but I love you, Dad. That's why I'll take you back to Earth." As he said this, he started loading his nuclear weapon, with which he would destroy the station and return from here with his dad. After loading the weapon, he put a spacesuit on his dad and started setting up to play cricket outside the station. But here his dad told him, "No, Roy, I don't want to go to the world. Please leave me. I want to stay here. That's not my world, please. You should forgive me too because I couldn't give you the love I should have, and even today I'm leaving your side." Saying this, he freed himself from his son's grip and moved away from him. Roy also now says a final goodbye to his dad and leaves his receipt. Using his thruster, Roy carefully maneuvers himself back to his spaceship, gliding through the vacuum of space. After sitting in the spaceship, he saw that his dad had now reached Neptune's orbit. After seeing his dad for the last time, he turns on his ship. He was about to continue his journey, but then he realized that his ship had very little fuel, and with so little fuel, he couldn't reach Earth. Seeing this, he started to regret, feeling that like his dad, he too would remain here in space. But then we are shown that the bomb Roy had planted explodes. As soon as it blasts, a huge energy wave emerges here, which pushes Roy's spaceship to continue its journey to Earth. Roy's journey continues with this push. Roy had enough fuel saved now so he could reach Earth, which is why he was very satisfied. During his journey, he reads the documents given by his dad, which stated that humans are the most intelligent beings in this entire universe, in this entire cosmos. No other planet or aliens can replenish Earth's diminishing resources. Rather, humans themselves can help themselves and increase their resources. While reading these papers, he begins to appreciate his dad, who had sacrificed his life in space to teach humans a big lesson. After this journey, a big change had also come within Roy. Before, he didn't value this life. Now he had begun to love this life. Feelings had also developed within him. He started acting like a normal human being. In this state, he also meets his wife and these two happily start life again together. Their reunion marks a fresh beginning, and showing just this moment of renewed hope and connection, the